It's Paul. Last week, around 100 of us spent 2 days immersed in a design lab event, working on something that could dramatically improve our approach to ending homelessness. Some of that group were friends, people I've worked with for years, but most were people I'd never met before. And what happened in that room gave me hope. This event was put on by the Changewell Project and was one in a series of workshops across LA County. We did a quick survey at my table. 4 service providers, 5 people with lived experience, 3 from advocacy organizations, 2 of us from SGLA, and 2 folks from political or bureaucratic offices. I was happy to see the majority being from direct services. I always advocate for building service organizations starting with the needs of the guest or client, then building the support system keeping them first in mind. The LAHSA problem. I've written about the homelessness industrial complex often. Their close relationship with LAHSA allowed many of them to spend vast funds without being held accountable. LAHSA suffered accusations of malfeasance for years, some proven, and their carelessness along with their ineffectiveness led to their eventual disbanding. The shuttering of LAHSA creates an opportunity to build the HSH almost from scratch. But what about the agencies who benefited from LAHSA's largesse? Will they be able to change the way they provide services? Many of them have been hit hard by funding cuts and had to lay off staff. This is especially hard because last year we made the most progress in housing folks in decades, and it took every one of those people to make it happen. But there might be a tiny but important upside to this short, sharp shock. Organizations are smaller now, with fewer resources than ever before, but the people I know doing this work will rise to this challenge. We can't walk away. It's not in us to leave people suffering. So we will create something new, resilient, and better able to end chronic homelessness forever. The challenges. LA County is huge, nearly 5,000 square miles, and diverse, with over 100 languages spoken within its borders. We have mountains, deserts, the ocean, and thousands of miles of roads, all of which help divide the place into disparate regions with specific needs. So there's no one-size-fits-all for anything we do here. But diversity has always been our superpower, and the approach HSH is taking through these convenings takes advantage of that strength. Our event was one of 8 planned across the county. You probably know that LA County has been segregated into 8 service areas. These service areas are somewhat arbitrary in where they exist, but not in their effect. They create almost impenetrable barriers when it comes to funding. The service areas, or SAs, have also created information silos that have a huge negative impact on the direct services community. These silos ignore a fundamental reality. The people we serve live what are by definition transient lifestyles. If I leave the SA where my service provider is and move to another SA where they don't operate, none of my data comes with me, and I need to start over. Each time I say it out loud, it seems more ridiculous. I don't know who this kind of planning serves, but it's certainly not the people we're trying to help. The design process. The approach Changewell is taking is firmly grounded in my favorite methodology, human-centered design. It's been a few years since I've been taken through that process, so being immersed in it for 2 days felt good. They broke the work into 5 general topic areas. 1, strategies to reduce disparities, or how to address racial and demographic inequities. 2, foundations for success, supporting all the service providers regardless of size. 3, feedback and ongoing co-design, ensuring transparency and accountability. 4, collaboration and partnerships, which is breaking down silos. And 5, systems and systems performance, which are creating transparent pathways. Each of us was asked to choose which area we'd like to focus on. This was tough for me. I've spent years working to build collaborations and partnerships. It's why I created Second Grace, which is how I learned the most about feedback and ongoing co-design. I talked with the facilitator, longtime friend Elisa Orduna, and chose to join her group working on creating feedback mechanisms. It was apparent within the hour that I'd chosen the right group for me. The team. There are always two ways to approach fixing broken systems: tweaking and working at the edges, or tearing it all down and starting fresh. I'm definitely in the tearing it all down camp, and so were most of the team. Two people in our group worked inside government agencies. The rest of us worked in direct services. Plus, we had three founders who had run our own organizations, so we knew how to make things work with little or no resources. The afternoon was intense. Human-centered design is slow and deliberate, and our facilitator was well practiced. Equity is key to keeping the process balanced, and beyond the three founders, over half of our group had lived experience, which is often underrated when it comes to creating solutions. The breakthrough. The last few hours of the day brought us all closer to a solution, and our early prototype sounded strong. The problems we were addressing were all problems we had encountered personally, so we'd been thinking about the solutions long before we'd all met up. Looking around that room, at the years of experience and raw talent all focused on creating something new, that gave me hope. We'd been invited to test radical hope and radical hospitality in real time, to build an agency that is human-focused, transparent, accountable, effective, and efficient. There were just a few more steps before we presented to the whole group the next day. And that's where the real insights came from, about what the new HSH could be. Next week, I'll tell you about the conclusion of the story and what insights we discovered about what this new department could actually become. Because what we built in that room derived from our personal experience is something that could actually work. If you're working in this space, or you care about how we solve homelessness, I want to hear from you. What would you change about how services are delivered? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe because next week's story is where things get really interesting. Thank you.